the biggest problem is like you're not getting enough people in, right? So not enough bookings.
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Um, yeah, I think I gave you a couple of tips already, like in the
Uh,
post that you made, right? And
yeah,
I
thank you,
think
Filter.
what's yeah, no problem at all. No, this is no problem at all. But I think like you this has potential. It's because I think too is also I think the most important thing, anyways, for especially this kind of business is like the visuals, like the pictures, the images. How does it look? And I think your place wouldn't even feel, let's say, like it doesn't feel like a camping site just from the things I see, but you just need to translate what you just explained to us, like that it's like more like a luxury camping, like it needs to be a bit more, if that makes sense, translated into the pictures, like how can I say, like you're saying you want to build out the garden to make it a bit more like a retreat style and stuff. And I saw at least the picture I saw now, there was still a bit like it was a bit drier out, or like around the glamping, or like around the property, for example. And I think just by changing, or like if the environment looks the way you're trying to explain it now to us, this would already be a huge difference for someone who sees this listing. They're like, wow, this is so beautiful. It's like a unique structure, because this structure, like an A-frame, you see, I saw it a couple of times in Zanzibar, like, but very limited times. So you still are very unique, like more like unique in this space. It's just about like trying to get this vision, what you were trying to explain, just into the pictures, you know? And I think for me, always the pictures is like, how do you say, like it's 70 to 80% of the decision someone makes before they book your stay with you. So if the pictures are right, I think everything else should be smaller of a problem. But until, I'm not sure if the property has changed by now, or like if the pictures are new or old, whatever. But that's why maybe the quick wins you can draw in now, I don't know, like yeah, how if you can do a photo shoot now, because I know it's difficult in Zanzibar. Yeah, like you have to be there for the shoot, otherwise the pictures turn out not really well, or like worse than before. Like I know the struggle. I was there also recently for 2 months. I shot the pictures myself because I couldn't rely on the photographers there. Um, so maybe what could be a quick win for you now? Like just the things I mentioned earlier. Like is maybe you try to fill out all the listing information you have there, like, and try to change just I can have a look now again, like I just have internet issues right now, but like um try to change the little things that I mentioned earlier as well in the chat. Is like try to translate this vision what you have with what you have right now with the least amount of effort, just like maybe changing the orders of the pictures, what would be the most enticing. What I do also when I consult different businesses, or like for different products, whatever, if I choose a new picture that's the first one, for example, like just imagine I have my phone here, I scroll through Airbnb and I just see the first image. Which one should this first image be? Which one draws my attention to be like, wow, this looks very unique, this looks amazing, let me have a deeper look into this, if that makes sense, you know by just changing these smaller things, like choose the new first image of the property. Then maybe the new cabinets, the you launch the other cabinets. So I just give you a couple of ideas what I have now in mind just from what I saw, yeah, if that helps you. um Maybe the new, you're very unique with this, but still maybe in the beginning, I don't know what the competition charges in Nungwi for like the similar location, for a similar type of structure or something. If there is someone like who has something a similar offer to you, maybe find out like what they are charging as well for the property. Maybe sometimes it can be also because you have less, like especially for the new listing now, you have a less, how do you say, like competitive position, because you, if someone exists like this already but your price is much higher for this one, it's harder for people to book you because there's less trust, for example. I don't have the competition in my mind now, but just give you a couple of thoughts for this one. So
Mm.
maybe it means changing the price a little bit in this instance. And also trying to, yeah, I don't know, like what you offer on site, for example, for the guests as well. Like if there's some kind of experiences you offer that creates this glamping experience for the customer when they are there, or do they just have this space where they sleep, for example. If you are offering something like this, maybe you could include this also into the listing description, the text that you have, the options of text. That someone really can feel what you're trying to create there, if that makes sense. that I know, let's say Francisca, she's trying to look for a space in this specific area. She sees this and she understands the vision you're trying to bring across from the pictures, from the text you're writing, from the reviews you're trying to create there, the service you offer there, if that makes sense. This would be just my like couple of thoughts to maybe yeah, generate some quick wins. And especially, but number one, really number one is the pictures for something like this. The pictures are the most important. I would say the next time you go there, yeah, go ahead, Winnie. Sorry.
Sorry, sorry. No, I see. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. But I
Mm.
think before you consider making new pictures, right? So I just went through your listing and look at the pictures and look at the property. And I also shared a link from YouTube here. I'm a big fan of do it yourself, right? So projects like as crafting. And I see that you have a big compound, you have a lot of space. But I think the issue is not that people are not familiar with glamping. People are nowadays, and they don't even care. Tiny hut, glamping, villa, blah, blah, blah. It's about the vibe that you're creating. Does it match what people are looking for when they visit Zanzibar? So when people visit Zanzibar, they either think of beachfront, right? Turquoise water, things like that. Or if you cannot offer that, which is not an issue, at least it has to be lush and tropical. And now, when I look at your property, I'm going to be very honest with you. There is a lot of potential, but a lot of missed potential. Zanzibar is the Garden of Eden. It's incredible. I plant a papaya tree, a banana tree, and after 6 months, like we are busy cutting trees because they cover the windows and light doesn't flow in. I think the best investment you can make is not investing in a next A-frame house, but in upgrading your garden. Plant trees, make it lush, make it green, buy palm trees, make it like very tropical. That will create a totally different vibe. There's nothing wrong with your houses. I think the problem is, and maybe, let's help the sister share I will share the link and you can also give feedback. If you don't mind, Sophia, I will share
No, I don't
the
mind.
I will share
Please do.
the link to your listing here in the group, and then whoever is willing to help can give her feedback. Each one teach one. That's what this community is about. We help each other. And so the first thing that I shared with you, right? Because I see you have the wall, right? It's not plastered, which is not a problem at all. The problem is that the wall looks like a construction site. So a very easy thing that you can do right now is I shared it in the YouTube, I shared the YouTube link. That video inspired me a lot. So if you want to create a tropical environment, tropical garden, you have to paint your wall in a darkish green, grayish dark green, because it's like the backdrop, and then plant plants in front of it. That will create a totally different vibe. Just you need to plant now. And the good thing is, I don't know when you're going to Zanzibar next, but the best time to plant is shortly before the rainy season. You will see a totally different space after 1 or 2 months. And plants are not expensive in Zanzibar. Or what do you guys think? Did you see the listing? Do you agree? It needs to be greener. And also, what you can do is, because you have a big property, right? So you can plant trees. You need to plant trees and plants to create privacy between the different huts that you rent out separately. So you can think already of, where your next A-frame houses are going to be, and create a green wall around them. So, but the first thing I think that you should do is ideally plaster the wall if you have the means. Some wall putty, some cement, and then some darkish green color, and then start planting along the wall.
Okay.
Also, that it for me, honestly, it seems like the wall is very low. I'm a little bit concerned about security, to be honest. because I don't see you have an electric fence, and people are very, very aware of that. Especially, we have to be mindful about one thing. In Zanzibar, there is so many robberies happening right now, you know? And there's already rumors, people, content creators saying if you go to Zanzibar, don't check into an Airbnb, check into a hotel, which is nonsense. Because I have a police officer, he's one of my best friends. Most of the cases he deals with is robberies and people who steal from guests in hotels. So, security is the key. When I rented the property, it had this my property that I rented. The wall was the same like yours, was 2 meter 50 high. I said, no, 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 no. I bought blocks and I increased it by 3 meter, and then later put an electric fence with alarm. And on top
Mhm.
of that, I have Masais. Security is so important. So I think that is also what I would highlight. If when you say you have Masais, it should be on the top 24/7 secured property, you know? You have so much space. The cabins is not the issue. And also don't change things constantly, because if you change constantly without analyzing the data, right? Without tracking how the conversion rate like shifts, how many people who click on your listing then end up eventually booking your place, right? You cannot really analyze and filter out what change made that difference. So you must do one change and then wait for at least a month, two, three. If you change daily, you will not get accurate data, if that makes sense.